Okay, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen, Salatu Wassalamu ala Sayyidil Anbiya'i wal Mursaleen, Allahumma allimna ma yanfa'una wanfa'na ma tu'allimuna wa zidna bi fadlika ilman wa ta'liman, innaka ala kulli shay'in qadir. So just a reminder, if anybody can follow along from another translation, it'd be nice to see contrasts, inconsistencies, problems, etc. It's kind of useful. So Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, say, O Prophet, indeed, I stand on a clear proof from my Lord, yet you have denied it. That torment you seek to hasten is not within my power. He, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, declares the truth, and He is the best of judges. So I'm not here to, what could be argued is that it's not falsifiable, in that you're saying if Islam is true, and if we're denying it, then bring on our punishment. Oh, I can't do that. Okay, then it doesn't mean anything, does it? Just like saying, hey, you take one more step and I'll knock you out. Okay, I'm taking one step. What are you going to do? Right? That's what they're saying. So the process I'm saying, I'm just a warner. It's not my job to come and tell you anything other than, all I can do is warn you. Right? I'm not here to dish out, the punishment. It's not my job. He is the best of judges, and it's not my job. Say also, if you seek to hasten, if what you seek to hasten were within my power, the matter between us would have already been settled. But Allah knows best who the wrongdoers are. With Him are the keys of the unseen. No one knows them except Him. He knows what is in the land and the sea. Not even a leaf falls without His knowledge, nor a grain in the darkness of the earth, or anything, green or dry, but it is written in a perfect record. He is the one who calls back your souls by night and knows what you do by day, then revives you daily to complete your appointed term. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, so He's saying, so what's the argument? The argument is, we're not going to die and be, so this is stupid. We're not going to die and be resurrected and then have to answer to things. So then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, well, think about this. Do you ever, quote unquote, die and then get resurrected? Like, no. Don't you go to sleep and then come back to life? Oh, good point. Then he revives you daily to complete your. So actually, you're going through these mini life and deaths, right? Every single day. To Him is your ultimate return. Then He will inform you of what you used to do. He reigns supreme over all of His creation and sends recording angels watching over you. When death comes to any of you, our angels take their soul, never neglecting His duty. Then they are all returned to Allah, their true master. Judgment is His alone. Stop asking me to judge between you, right? And He is a swiftest reckoner. Say, O Prophet, who rescues? We did this, right? You from the darkness on land and on sea. He alone you call upon with humility, openly and secretly. If He rescue me from this, we will be ever grateful. Say, Allah, only Allah rescues you from this and in any distress, yet you associate others with Him. We did this last week, right? How we change. We are in one situation, then we change, right? So we have to understand, right? Who's noticed how fickle other people are, like how people will change? Like in your life, you're like, yeah, man, that's crazy. Like that person was like one thing and then they changed, or they said something and then they changed, right? Has anybody noticed that in other people?
Yeah,
Yusuf?
they commit to something and then change their
Yeah, they
mind.
commit to it, or they change, or for example, they were doing something bad, and then some difficulty came, and so then they stopped, and then they went back again,
Yeah.
right? And it's like, that's me and you too. So when we
Hmm.
notice other people are fickle, or they're every kind of like lame, or they're like something clicks, but then it unclicks, it's like that's actually all of us, right? We're all pretty lame. We're all very weak and we're all very fickle. And like this thing is like, oh my God, you changed from shirk to tawheed when you were drowning. And now you've gone back again. You're so fickle, you're so fake. That's every single one of us in reality, right? He alone has the power to unleash upon you a torment from above you or below you, or to split you into conflicting factions and make you taste the violence of one another. See how we vary the signs, so perhaps we will comprehend. We did this last week. Still, your people, O Prophet, have rejected this Quran. although it is the truth. Say, I am not a keeper over you, I'm not responsible for you, it's not my job. Every destined matter has a set time to transpire, and you will soon come to know. And when you come across those who did this as well, those who come across those who ridicule our signs, do not sit with them unless they engage in something different. So you're sitting with people who are making the riba, unless they change, you have to leave, right? And the same thing with the screen, right? Same thing with the screen, right? Who finds Dave Chappelle funny?
Yeah, he's a
No?
funny guy.
What do you think, Yusuf? I think he's pretty funny.
Yeah, yeah, he's a funny guy.
He's a funny guy, yeah? What's the problem?
What's the problem with what? With him being funny
Not with
or
him
me
being
thinking?
funny. What's the problem with a lot of his humor?
Oh, yeah, I guess it's talking the way
He
he's
uses certain
talking.
words, right? So the thing
Yeah,
is, you and I were laughing, and I'm like, Allah hates the swear word, but I love the swear word. In fact, the swear word just hit the spot. Like it was just
yeah,
really funny. That's not acceptable.
yes.
You know what I'm saying? So you're sitting there, there's somebody laughing about religion itself, somebody laughing about Islam itself, and you find that funny. Allah saying, don't sit with these people. Somebody engaging in the haram, and you're enjoying the haram. Or you're sitting there, these things are happening. The riba is happening. People are cussing, people are saying bad things, people are flirting, right? So this will happen, right? You go to you go to someone's house and it's like you're not interacting in an appropriate way with the opposite sex, but people are, you know what I'm saying? And it's like this is it's like, man, these people are crossing the line. So I'm not doing it. So can I be in a situation where people are crossing the line between genders, right? Where I'm not crossing the line, but they are. You know what I'm saying? Does
Yeah.
everybody know what I'm talking about? Like, it's kind of weird. Like, I'm with my friend and he's crossing the line with this girl, but I'm not doing that. Or I'm in this place and it's like my wife and I, we're just having food or whatever, but it's a mixed place and it's like other people are kind of crossing the line, you know? And it's like, is
Mm.
that okay to be in that situation? It's not okay to be in that situation. You cannot be in a place of haram unless you have a need to be there. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
Like you're a medic and you were called into a nightclub. Say, hey, this guy just passed out. Bust in there, pick this guy up. This is your job, right? You're a policeman, whatever it is. But you can't be in a place of sin or where people, so a place built for sin, right? Like a bank, like a brothel, like a bar, I don't know, a place built for sin. You can't go in there. Or a place where sin is happening. People are making riba. People are saying bad stuff. People are doing haram things. People are drinking, right? So it's not a bar, but people are drinking. It's not a, you know, it's not a I don't know, some kind of nightclub, but people are doing inappropriate things. You can't be there unless you have to, right? So this is very practical in weddings, right? So they'll mention this
Mm.
scenario like you're at this wedding and then there's that blasting music, but dude, you're in the middle of nowhere, right? This wedding is happening like 3 hours away from the closest city. Like, where am I supposed to go? You know? So like, oh, it's okay, you can stay there because it'll be dangerous for you to go somewhere else. Like you have to stay the night because there's nowhere else to go, right? As opposed to like just dip, you know? You turn up and they're
Mm.
like, yeah, this isn't cool, just dip, you know? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So we cannot be around other people doing haram, right? They'll often quote this verse, the fuqaha, when it comes to these things, right? So this says, should Satan make you forget, then once you remember, do not continue to sit with the wrongdoing people. Do not sit with the wrongdoing people. So you can't be there watching TV and it's like this haram stuff happening on TV. It's like, yeah, but I'm not looking at the haram or not enjoying the haram. It's like, well, yeah, but you're just being exposed to the haram, right? You're just looking at the haram. It's like, is this for a certain reason, right? You can't do that, right? You can't be exposed to those things. You can't be in that environment, right? It's not like, do not sit with these people, right? Those mindful of Allah, people of taqwa, will not be accountable for those who ridicule whatsoever. Their duty is to advise, so perhaps the ridicules will abstain. But you didn't advise. You didn't say, this is haram. Can we stop now? Right? You didn't advise and you didn't leave. Now you're sinful, right? And in general, as well on a societal level, as we know, that what happens when corruption becomes widespread, then everybody suffers. So this is the sunnah of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Zina will become widespread. Zina with the of the eye will become widespread. It's just normal for women to dress like this, or women and men to hang out like this, or this kind of thing will happen, or people riba will become normal, right? So what does Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala do? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala destroys everybody. Everybody suffers. Everybody gets the plague. Everybody gets destroyed by the Mongols. Everybody suffers. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala rewards the good people for what they did of the good and rewards them for their suffering, right? And it's a punishment for the sinners, right? So that's how things work. So when the haram becomes normal, then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sends a punishment that harms everybody. Right? Does that make sense?
Oh,
Yeah?
yes.
Okay. Leave those who take this faith of Islam as a mere play and amusement and are deluded by the worldly life. So how many friends are you going to have then? Leave those who take this faith of Islam as a joke, meaning like 50-50% Muslims, and amusement, and are deluded by their worldly life. When they go to work, they don't go to work for the sake of Allah. When they talk about money, they talk about money in itself, like I want money in itself, right? When they're buying a car, they want the car in itself, like it's a cool car, as opposed to a means for the akhirah, right? When they think about marriage, it's about reputation. It's not about marriage or about marrying somebody who looks. It's not about this, what other people think, right? So how many friends are you going to have then? And leave those who take this faith of Islam as a mere play and amusement and are deluded by the worldly life. How many friends are you going to have? How many people are you going to follow on Instagram? How many people are going to listen to you on YouTube? How many friends? Not many, right? This is how you have to be. You have a select group of people. You're nice to everybody. Everybody can ask you for advice. Everybody can come to you for help. But you have a very, very select group of people. These are your people, right? لا تصاحب إلا مؤمنا ولا يأكل طعامك إلا تقي. Do not accompany anybody except who's a true believer. And don't break bread. Don't socially eat with anybody who doesn't have taqwa, right? And in fact, you shouldn't even eat their food as well. You should eat food of people who have taqwa. Who's touched that food? Oh, I don't know. The guy with the shawarma shop. Yeah, but what's in his mind? Don't know. Does he pray? Don't know. You shouldn't eat their food either. By default, the food is made and touched, and the environment is people of taqwa. That's what you do. You surround yourself with people. Surround yourself with people who are better than you. Right? Surround yourself with people who are better than you. Okay, that's how it works. That's how it works in the dunya. That's how it works in the akhirah. You want to go to boxing, hang out with boxers. You want to go to skateboarding, hang out with skateboarders who are better than you. If you want to get good at you want to make it to Hollywood, right? You're 14, you're like, I want to go to Hollywood. Okay, you're going to find out people who got connections, people who are in the industry, who's performing arts, actors, film stars. You're not going to be with the people who are like you. It's not going to work. Right? You want to make it to Google, you're going to be like, so it's very, very important. You're hanging out with people who are like you or less than you, right? I'm not talking about looking down upon people, right? I'm not trying to say that. We don't look down upon anybody, but you see other people that don't have the same standards as you, right? So like, I'm not talking about that I'm better than you. I'm not trying to say that. I'm saying you don't have the same standards. Like you're very happy to waste time. You're very happy to do for the dunya. When haram means everybody says haram, not most people say it's haram, right? So for you, like you're very gonna happy to like push the limits as far as you go, right? I don't want to hang out with people like you. I want to hang out with people who are better than me, right? And so this is for myself. I'm 38. Since the age of like 14, all of my friends have been 5 to 20 years older than me. That's just how it is, like 5 to 20 years older than me, right? So what's wrong with that? Find people who are older than you and righteous, right? As far as reading yesterday in Kitab al-Athar of Qadi Abu Yusuf, the student of Imam Abu Hanifa, He was mentioning that what? The oh yeah, there's a hadith which is like the worst of people are men who mimic women and women who mimic men. Right? That's a well-known hadith. There's a part of the added is the best of your youth are those who mimic the elders, and the worst of the elders are those who mimic the young. Right? So here's a 65-year-old woman, and she's trying to dress like she was 16. You know what I mean, guys? It's like, sister, prepare for death, right? Keep your eyes to the floor and prepare for the grave. So you're 16 and you're preparing for death. That's good, right? But not you're 65 and you're trying to act like a 16-year-old, right? So you have people, hang out with people who are older than you, who are more mature in the deen, right? They might be younger than you, but they're more mature in the deen. Like when they do things, they say, what is my intention? When they do things, they say, is this honestly the best thing to do? When they buy a house, a car, they say, is this for the sake of Allah or not? Yes or no, right? These are the kind of people you want to hang out with, right? And these people exist, right? These people exist, right? So I went through a bit of a trauma because I was in Jordan for like 13 years, and that's the kind of people I lived with. That's the kind of people I socialized with. We didn't socialize really, but that's the kind of people you'd see. I'm walking down the street, like these are the people I knew. And suddenly I turned up in California, I'm like, oh, this is kind of like it's very few. It's like there'll be like somebody who's like talking the way that they process the world is not in that way, right? This is how they process the world. The dunya, like basically the dunya, I will only let go of the dunya if it's 100% haram for me to not let go. You know what I'm saying? Like I want to buy the nicest car possible as long as it's not haram by agreement. I'm gonna do this interest loan as long as it's not haram by agreement. Like I want everything of the dunya as long as it's not haram by agreement. That's their standard. Like as long as there's any fatwa that says halal, I'm gonna do it because the dunya, I'm deluded by dunya reality, right? That's what you do. Delusion, right? The dunya is my goal, right? But it's not. So it's very important. Surround yourself and leave those who take this faith as a mere play. That could be most of your relatives, most of your friends, an amusement. They're not serious about the deen, right? One of the Salaf, he said, our teachers, right? Like somebody who was joking and messing around with our teachers, will be considered extremely serious for our students. So the way that they saw things, that what they meant by ijtihad and being serious, is very different from generation to generation, right? You're talking to somebody and they just talk for no, like when they talk, like Sayyidina Umar, he said, if it were not for three things, I wouldn't want to be alive. He said jihad, sujud, and sitting with people who carefully select their words as people carefully select dates when they want to buy them. And they go through and choose the right ones. So this person is talking and they realize they're just talking because they learned to talk. And you realize, are you counting your words? Are you selectively saying things or are you just saying things? So no, I'm just saying things. So it's not haram, is it? It's like, subhanallah, I thought we were all trying to do this. I thought we were all trying to selectively choose our words. And then you realize most people are not like that. Most people are not like that. And so that's your man. There's actually a very few select people on planet Earth that are believers and that are not deluded by the worldly life and don't take the religion as a game and they're serious about their deen. It's very few. And so these are the people you have to surround yourself with. Even if you're not of them, you need to surround yourself with those people physically, and if that's possible, then online, on books, right? Very, very important. Got to surround. They exist, and you got to surround yourself with these people. Yet remind them by this Quran so that no one should be ruined for their misdeeds. They will have, who is it? Ibn Umar, I believe it was, Abdullah Mas'ud. One of them said that. He said, I had no idea that any of the Sahaba cared about the dunya until the verse of the Quran was revealed. وَمِنكُم مَن يُرِيدُ الدُّنْيَا. He said, I had no idea. Like that the way that we lived as Sahabas, like I had no idea anybody cared about the dunya. Right? Khair. They will have no protector or intercessor other than Allah. Even if they were to offer every possible ransom, none will be accepted from them. Those are the ones who will be ruined for their deeds. They will have a boiling drink and a painful punishment for their disbelief. Ask them, O Prophet, should we invoke other than Allah those idols who cannot benefit or harm us, and turn back to disbelief after they have been after Allah has guided us? If we do so, we will be like those disoriented by devils in the wilderness, while their companions call them to guidance, saying, "Come to us." Right? So someone's traveling in the middle of nowhere and they don't know where they're going, and the devils are calling them from one side to the other side. They don't, and they're hearing somebody calling us saying, "Come this way, come this way." They don't even know where to go. Right? That's the analogy that Allah gives. Say, O Prophet, Allah's guidance is the only true guidance, and we are commanded to submit to the Lord of the worlds. Establish a prayer and be mindful of Allah. Have taqwa, actively ward off His punishment. To Him you will all be gathered together. He is the one who created the heavens and the earth in truth, not a joke. On the day of judgment, He will say, "Be," and there will be. His command is truth. All authority is His alone. On the day the trumpet will be blown. He is the knower of all seen and unseen, and He is the all-wise, the all-aware. And remember when Abraham said to his father Azar, so what's the point here? You should unconditionally follow your forefathers. Well, your forefather who established this place, the Kaaba, did he follow his father unconditionally? No. You should unconditionally follow your culture. No, you shouldn't. Do you take idols as gods? It is clear to me that you and your people are entirely misguided. And we showed Abraham the wonders of the heavens and the earth, so he would be sure in faith. When the night grew dark upon him, he saw a star, and he said, by way of educating his people, hypothetically, "This is my Lord." Right? He's not literally worshiping the star. But when it set, he said, "I do not love things that set." Goes away. Right? So look at your life. Every single thing in your life that sets, that's not a goal. Right? It's called chasing waterfalls. It's going leaving your hand. So I really like the way I look. Okay, wait a few years. You're not gonna look in the same way, are you? I really like my car. Well, tomorrow's going to get scratched. Right? Every single thing that disappears is worthless. Okay, so what's useful then? Find things that will actually remain. Right? These are the things that you should invest in, right? As opposed to something that's going to disappear. Your children will disappear, but your good relationship with your children will not disappear. Your wife, your husband will disappear. You might get divorced, but those opportunities of being nice, of being understanding, of being selfless will not disappear. So that's what you're interested in. You're not interested in a marriage or a marriage lasting or your husband or wife. You're interested in the good deeds that you took away from that relationship. You're not interested in money. You're interested in the good deeds that you did with that money. Because everything's going to disappear. Kullu man alayha fan. Every single thing, every single one on it is passing away. It's a waterfall. Right? It's disappearing. So don't chase things. Don't chase things that you can't keep hold of. Then when he saw the sun rising, he said, "This must be my Lord. It is the greatest." Again, he's saying it hypothetically. It's a way of educating his people. Let's assume this is my Lord. But when it set, he declared, "O my people, I totally reject whatsoever you associate with Allah in worship. I have turned my face towards the one who has originated the heavens and the earth, being upright. I am not one of the polytheists." Right? And this is one of my teachers that mentioned this. He said, what is the point of the deen? Is raf'u al-hadath wa ithbat al-qidam. Removing that which came into existence and affirming that which never came into existence. It has always been there. So you look at every single thing, and you're like, well, this disappears, and that didn't used to exist, and that disappears, and that's going to go, and that's only been around for a year or 2 years or 3 years, or it's only recently this or only recently that. And you go and you start deleting all these things in existence, and then you realize, what is the most beautiful, pure, ultimate, perfect thing in the whole of existence? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala himself. So why are you interested in anything else? كل ما تهوى موجود في ذات الله. Every single thing you could ever aspire to, hopes, dreams, is found in Allah himself. Right? I am not one of the polytheists. And his people argued with him. He responded, "Are you arguing with me about Allah while he has guided me? I am not afraid of what your idols do, of whatever idols you associate with him. None can harm me, unless my Lord so wills. My Lord encompasses everything in his knowledge, and he will you not be mindful? And how should I fear your associate gods, while you have no fear in associating others with Allah, a practice he has never authorized? Which side is more right to security? Tell me if you really know. It is only those who are faithful and do not tarnish their faith with falsehood who are guaranteed security and are rightly guided." So this verse here, تلبسوا إيمانهم بظلم. So the Sahaba, they were confused about this verse because it says ولم يلبسوا إيمانهم بظلم. They have not clothed, tarnished, covered over their iman with an oppression. So it said, Ya Rasulullah, because it says with an oppression, right? They said, which of us has not done that? Right? Every single one of us has wronged their iman. They've tarnished their iman with an oppression. So here, the Sahaba understood the indefinite, right? Because it says bi-dhulmin, with an oppression. They understood the indefinite in the context of a negation to mean any. That's a default in Arabic. When you say, for example, I didn't see a man, that means I didn't say any man. I didn't eat a thing, meaning I didn't eat anything. That's the default. But the tankir, the indefinite, could have another meaning, right? So here the Prophet said, no, it doesn't mean that. It doesn't mean that they didn't wrong their iman at all. Everybody's done that. What it means is they didn't tarnish their faith with an oppression, a falsehood, a specific one, a very foul one, i.e. shirk. Okay? So this opens our eyes to the importance of being very sensitive to the definite and indefinite Arabic, right? Sister Mahas here. Where's Sister Maha? You're there,
Yes.
right? Sister Maha, you're there, right? So this is something we're going to do in level 5 and 6, inshallah, if we're alive.
Inshallah.
In what's it called? In Fawaki. In 5 and 6, we're going to Balagha. One of these very practical and important discussions is the use of the definite and the indefinite in Arabic. Like, what did you mean by the? What did you mean by a? Right? So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, الشيطان يعدكم الفقر ويأمركم بالفحشاء. The devil promises you the poverty and commands you to do the shameful. Right? But it's limited because it's the. وَاللَّهُ يَعِدُكُمْ مَغْفِرَةً مِنْهُ وَفَضْلًا. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala promises you a forgiveness from him and a largesse. It's indefinite. So what does it mean? It means what shaitan's making you scared of is limited. Like, oh, I'm going to miss out. You know, like if I do the right, I'll miss out on this thing, or this is limited there. But what Allah's promised you is unlimited. Where did that come from? Indefinite, finite to indefinite, infinite. So these little things are really, really important. Here, the Sahaba themselves, they got lost. They're like, oh, لم يلبسوا إيمانهم بظلم. It's like, oh, whoops, they didn't cover their faith with an oppression, and they understood it meant any oppression. So they were really scared. But that's not what it meant. It meant an oppression, a specific one, right? A specific one, which is shirk itself. This was the argument we gave Abraham against his people. We elevate in rank whomever we please. Surely your Lord is all wise, all knowing. And we blessed him with Isaac and Jacob. How do you say Jacob? What's another name of Jacob?
Israel.
Israel, right? So yesterday, those people in the class, we saw Israel, tabi'i, right? He was a tabi'i or atba' tabi'i. That's a name. People name people Israel, right? Israel is a good name, the name of Sayyidina Yaqub alayhi salam, right? So, should you name your son today Israel? It might get, imagine you're Yemeni and you name your son Israel. What's going to happen to you? I don't know. It'd be problematic, right? In Yemen or in the Arab world, your son's called Israel. Like, it's a bit confusing, but in reality, it's a good name, right? In reality, it's a noble name. And the Star of David. That's our flag, not your flag, right? لعن الذين كفروا من بني إسرائيل من what is it؟ لعن الذين كفروا من بني إسرائيل لعن الذين كفروا من بني إسرائيل على لسان داوود وعيسى بن مريم, right? Those who disbelieved of the children of Israel were cursed at the tongue of David and Jesus, son of Mary. So the Star of David is cursing these people, right? We have a better right to it, right? These are Sayyidina Dawood is on our side, not your side. Right? So Israel is our prophet, not your prophet. You're not following him. Right? We guided them all as we previously guided Noah and those of his descendants, David, Solomon, Job, right, Ayub, Yusuf, Moses, and Aaron. This is how we reward the good doers. Likewise, we guided Zechariah, John, Sayyidina Yahya, Jesus, and Elias, right? Who were all among the righteous. We also guided. This could be. So I'm not sure if this. I don't remember the verse. So Eliezer and what we have Eliezer and we have what? Elijah.
Yunus.
This is Yunus here. So one of them is
Ismail.
Eliezer and one of them is Elias. I think this is Elias and this is Eliezer. Right? So the issue is some of these names don't really add up. Okay? Like Idris and Enoch. That's not really clear. It's not really clear that Enoch, who's in Arabic is Enoch. I think that's how it is in Arabic. Enoch is actually Enoch in the Bible, right? And so sometimes the Bible might not have that much information about somebody, and we're like, oh, this is the same person. Right? It's not necessarily the case, right? So Jonah and the whale, Yunus, right? The same thing. Lot, Lut, they're the same person, right? But with Ilyas and Eliezer, is that really the same person? Allahu Alam. Or, favoring each over the other people of their time. And we favored some of their forefathers, their descendants and their brothers. We chose them and guided them to the straight path. This is Allah's guidance with which he guides whomever he wills of his servants. Had they associated others with him in worship, their good deeds would have wasted them. So, people of the Quraysh who are following the way of Abraham, it's not your lineage or your background, it's what you do. So if you start doing shirk, as you have been doing and you continue to do, you will be fired. It is not a racist religion or a religion based on, this place. It's not about place, nor is it about, So for the Quraysh and for the Jews, the same idea. Oh, we're just following our forefathers. We're saved by virtue of this. You're not, right? You're not. Right. Had they associated others with him in worship, their good deeds would have were wasted, right? Those were the ones to whom we gave the scripture, wisdom and prophethood. But if these pagan disbelievers follow this wrong way of thinking, right, and disbelieve in it, in this message, then we have already entrusted it to people who will never disbelieve in it, right? So same thing with us, right? Yemen, Muslim country, not necessarily. Doesn't have to. Sayyidina Abu Hurairah is Yemeni, right? But maybe one day it won't be a Muslim country, depending how the Yemenis want to behave. Spain was a Muslim country, right? 800 years. Where are they now? So, right. So you say, oh, I'm Muslim. So, well, yeah, I mean, you're Muslim as long as you hold tight to Islam, but otherwise, right? You know, many of these countries will, will Egypt and the whole of Arabia always be Muslim countries? No, they won't. At the end of time, it's going to be small pockets, right? Small pockets of believers. So these places are not always going to be Muslim, right? Well, I'm going to go and live in Medina then. Medina will always be Muslim, right? Yeah, but you'll be kicked out. You might be living in Medina, but because you're a fake Muslim, you'll be kicked out of Medina. That's what will happen, right? That the jail will surround and you'll be kicked out. So it's not, you can't say my lineage, my geography, my passport. It's not like that, right? You got to put your money where your mouth is. You have to act accordingly. Otherwise you get fired, right? We will have already entrusted the deen to people who will never disbelieve in it. If you disbelieve in it or you go off someone, Allah's going to give it to somebody else. These prophets were rightly guided by Allah, so follow their guidance. Say, I seek no reward for you from this Quran. It is a reminder to the whole world. And they have not shown Allah proper reverence. They don't understand who Allah is. When they say Allah has revealed nothing to any human being, they don't know who Allah is. Say, O Prophet, who then revealed the book brought forth by Moses as a light and guidance for people, which you split into many separate sheets, revealing some and hiding much? You have been taught through this Quran what neither you nor your forefathers knew. Say, O Prophet, Allah revealed it, then leave them to amuse themselves with falsehood. This is a blessed book which we have revealed, confirming what came before it, so you may warn the mother of the cities, the center of the cities, and everyone around it, al-Qura. Those who believe in the hereafter truly believe in it and guard their prayers. Those who, right, so notice the connection. They believe in it and they take the practical steps to do something, right? So the Prophet ﷺ, he said, what? There's nothing between a person and shirk apart from leaving the prayer. Meaning, you start leaving the prayer, it's okay, I'm still Muslim. And then you start snowballing bit by bit by bit. You don't do this, and you don't do this, and you don't do this, and eventually your iman falls apart. Right? So you don't have your sunnahs, you have nothing to protect your fard. You don't have your fard, you have nothing to protect your iman. Your iman will disappear like this. Right? So it is true. Iman and Islam are not the same things. Doing and believing are not the same in principle. Practically speaking, it is. If you stop sunnahs, you will stop the fard. And if you stop the fard, you will leave your iman. That is how it is. Right? So one of my shuyukh, I've shared this before, right? One of my greatest shuyukh, I used to run home, I remember exactly, my bus would, the bus would pick us up at 5:30, yeah. So we used to get back home at 6 o'clock, and then at 6 o'clock it would be The Simpsons, right? So one of my shuyukh, Sheikh Umar Simpson, right? He did say he responded to a situation in a very intelligent way. So he comes home, and Marge is not home. Okay, his wife is not home, and all she's done is left some sausages defrosting in the sink, right? And because he's so dumb, he's not really dumb, right? That's the whole point. He's not actually dumb. He's like, shock horror, this is the end of the marriage. Because you come home, your wife's not there. She didn't cook anything for you. She just left this food defrosting in the sink, right? Welcome to the 21st century marriage. right? So why is he intelligent? Because he's not saying we are literally at the, on the court fighting for a divorce, because that's not how an intelligent person thinks. Is there's signs for the beginning of the end, right? The signs of the beginning of the end. X happens, Y happens, Z happens, and then the end. So when you see, when you see X, you already know things are going to go down, right? So you see, like, oh, you used to pray in the masjid, you don't do that anymore. You used to recite Quran, you don't do that anymore. You used to do these adhkar, you don't do that anymore. Ah, you know where you're going then. And so an intelligent person freaks out when they see X, not when they see not when they say Z, right? Like Sheikh Homer Simpson is like, he starts freaking out, like this is where it all starts. These little things, right? This happens, this happens, this happens. Okay, it's the end, right? You've got to be very, very careful. Whenever you see yourself slipping, where am I happy? Where am I happy for this take me? Leave the sunnahs, leave the fard, leave the fard, leave the deen. That's how it is. So you don't freak out when you're leaving the deen. When your 15-year-old is like, oh, I don't know if Islam is true or not. I mean, I think everyone's going to be thinking that question. But you should freak out. Well, who's he hanging out with? What's your relationship with him at the age of 5, not the age of 15, right? So like, you've already messed up. It's 15-year-old, he has his own TV, his own phone. Of course he's gonna basically leave Islam in his head. That's what's gonna happen, right? If you have your own phone, your own TV, and you sit and watch TV, you're gonna leave Islam in your head before he even comes to any discussion. He might even pray, he might do anything, but in his head, he's seeing all of these things, exposed to all these things. Of course, that's already happening. So we need to take it back 10 years and build these relationships as best as we can, and be a part of their lives as best as we can, process things with them as best as we can, right? And keep bringing things back so that inshallah ta'ala they have that iman, and with our own iman as well. Why is it that my iman is shaky? It's because of what you do. Notice here, and those who believe in the hereafter and believe in it and guard their prayers. They actually do things to protect. You have a relationship, do things to keep that. You value your job, do things that protect that job. You value your iman, do things that protect your iman. But if you don't do anything, these things are going to trickle away. May Allah protect us. And who does more wrong than those who fabricate lies against Allah or claims, I have received revelations, although nothing was revealed to them? Or the one who says, I can reveal the like of Allah's revelations. If you, O Prophet, could only see the wrongdoers in the throes of death, while the angels are stretching out their hands, saying, give up your souls. Today you will be rewarded, recompensed with the torment, right, of disgrace for telling lies about Allah, for being arrogant towards His revelations. Today you have come back to us all alone, right? As we have created you the first time. You don't have tribe, you don't have your friends, you don't have this person, you don't have your Instagram page to defend you, you have your reputation, you're just there. All you have is your deeds. Leaving behind everything we provided you with. We do not see your intercessors with you, those you claimed were Allah's partners in worship. All your ties have been broken, and all your claims have let you down. Right? So the only ties that we should have are ties that help us with Allah. So your tie to your money, your tie to your spouse, your tie to your children, your tie to your kittens, your tie to your own intellect, your tie to your health is a tie with Allah, because everything else is going to be broken. Any relationship that is not based on your relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is a meaningless relationship. It doesn't mean anything. And all your claims have let you down. Indeed, Allah is the one who causes seeds and fruits, seeds and fruit stones to sprout. He brings, so Allah's planting, say, look at this dead thing. Notice how it comes to life. Analogy. Sleep and waking up. Analogy. Right? He brings forth the living from the dead and the dead from the living. That is Allah. How can you then be deluded from the truth? How can you question Judgment Day? He causes the dawn to break, right? It's like a coming the dead to life. And he has made the night for rest and made the day and the moon to travel with precision. That is the design of the Almighty, the All-Knowing. He has power and he knows how to do things, right? So this is the argument from design. Argument from contingency is given the universe exists and it exists in a particular way, and given that it doesn't have to exist and doesn't have to exist and it doesn't have to exist in a particular way, there must be something that chooses one contingency over another, one possibility over another. There has to be something external to it, right? And that being must have power. So there's something that chooses, that is external to the universe, that chooses and has power. And it also has to have knowledge, because otherwise, how would it know what it's doing? And then there's the argument from design. Look how amazing the earth is. Look at this animal. Look at this, look at that. That's the argument from design, right? Look at how amazing things are. Right? And he is the one who has made the stars as your guide to the darkness of land and sea. And we have already made the signs clear for people who know. And he is the one who originated you from the single soul, then assigned you to a place to live and another to be laid to rest. Right? You'll die. We have already made the signs clear for people who comprehend. And he is the one who sends down rain from the sky, causing all kinds of plants to grow. I.e., Judgment Day is the same thing, producing green stalks from which we bring forth clustered grain. And from palm trees come clusters of dates hanging within reach. There are also gardens of grapevines, olives, and pomegranates, similar in shape but dissimilar in taste. Look at their fruit as it yields and ripens. Indeed, these are signs for people who believe. Yet they associate the jinn with Allah in worship, even though He created them, and they falsely attribute to Him sons and daughters, right, out of ignorance. Indeed, the exalted, glorified, exalted is He above what they claim. He is the originator of the heavens and the earth. How could he have children when he has no mate? So if you think, for example, about Odin, right? Odin is like the equivalent of God in the Germanic Norse world, right? So Odin, if I remember correctly, like Odin is like the son of the giants and he kills them. So Odin comes from somewhere, right? So he's like the head of the pantheon. He's like the top, right? Today's Tuesday. Well, it's Monday for you guys, right? Moon Day, and then tomorrow's going to be Tuesday. Chu is another god, right? And then Wednesday, Odin's day, is another god, right? And so all of these gods, Zeus, I don't know where Zeus came from. I can't remember the story of Zeus. Buddha's found on a what? Like he was like found on a leaf or something like that. I can't remember the whole story. But all these things come from somewhere. So like, yeah, that's not God though. Whatever you're thinking about that was there, what was before that? Right? What was before that? That's what we're talking about. Right? And that thing that was before all of that, there still is. And that thing that was before everything doesn't need anything and is not limited. So every other perfection is limited. Even the Prophet ﷺ. Think about the most beautiful, perfect thing in creation, the Prophet ﷺ. It is the most beautiful and perfect thing, but it is limited to a place or a time or words or actions, right? Inshallah ta'ala, every single one of us, we hold the Prophet ﷺ's hand on Judgment Day. So then you ask the question, if every single moment passes, where is the Prophet ﷺ of yesterday? Gone. And where is the Prophet ﷺ of tomorrow? He's gone. Prophet ﷺ, like us, kullu man alayha fan. the most beautiful. You know, Aisha radiallahu anha, she said, or was alleged to have said, you said, um, she said that Yusuf alayhi salam, he was given the half of beauty, right? And that the women of the around Yusuf, they cut their hands, right? So Aisha radiallahu anha, she's alleged to have said that that had these women seen the Prophet, they would not have cut their hands, they would have cut their what? They would cut their own necks. Like they would like just died, right? How handsome the Prophet was, how beautiful the Prophet is, because it's hiss and ma'na, right? It's hiss and ma'na. It's like the beauty, physical and spiritual in one, but it is contained in a human being and it is limited to a being. A Jannah is limited to this or limited to that. Even if it's even if you could have infinite drinks every single time in Jannah, you say, I want to have infinite drinks every single time I drink something. It's a different taste, different experience, a different pleasure, but it's limited to that thing. Whereas Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is al-Jamal al-Mutlaq, al-Kamal al-Mutlaq. It's not muqayyad, it's not limited to this, not limited to a time or place or experience. It's absolute, samad, right? It's non-qualified. Everything else is qualified, muqayyad. It's limited to something, limited to time, place, thing, but it's not. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, this is Bahr Samadiyya, right? The sea of Allah's absoluteness, right? So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is pulling these people out from this idol and that God, and this tradition, and this person, and this thing, and that time, and that place, to Al-Bahr Mutlaq, Bahr Mutlaq, the sea of the absolute. Right? Glorified and exalted is He above what they claim. He is the originator of the heavens and the earth. How could He have children? What kind of idea do you have of God? You're thinking of Zeus and Odin and whatever, right? When He has no mate, there's nothing equivalent to Him, right? He created all things and has perfect knowledge of every single thing. That is Allah, no less, right? Does anybody have the Quran beheld?
Yeah.
Can somebody? How do you translate that? That is Allah. Can you just see how to translate this?
Yeah. He actually he wrote that is Allah your Lord.
It's exactly the same.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's basically it's ذَلِكُمُ اللَّهُ رَبُّكُم, right? I think that's how it's in the Arabic. ذَلِكُمُ اللَّهُ.
Yeah, ذلكم الله ربكم. Yeah.
So notice that there's two ways of saying that, and there's many ways of saying that. Okay, but it doesn't say ذَلِكَ, it says ذَلِكُم. So here's this problem. Sheikh Nuh Kella, he spent 17 years trying to work out how to translate this sentence, but you can't. So the problem is like, how are you going to do that? Like, so they went through all of these things, okay? They went through all the subtleties in the Arabic, but you just can't translate it to English. You're like, what am I supposed to do? You know, like it just comes out, that's your Lord, right? So what is the balagha when you say that, right? And when you say dhalikum, there's a number of things. So you're saying that. So like what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, look, I've described Allah. So now Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying the following. He's saying, I'm speaking to all of you, okay? And I'm saying, I want you to do Control A of all that I just described. Okay? He's not like that, he's not like this, and he's perfect, he's this, like that's Control A. I want you to focus on it, okay? And see it as something distinguished. That's dhalika, right? So I say, this, dhalika Yusuf Muhsin. Oh, okay, yeah. Right? So like you don't know who he is, and I say he's done this, and then it's like control so all of those things, okay? And then think of it as something distinguished and referred to and pointed at, and then you focus on that point. So it's a way of distilling, like you use the word dhalika, it's a way of like distilling something, right? So there's a lot going on there. Then it says ذَلِكُمْ, doesn't say ذَلِكَ, because it's talking to all of us as a whole and not all of us as an individual. The Quran begins ذَلِكَ الْكِتَابِ, talking to you as an individual. But this says ذَلِكُمْ, ذَلِكُمُ Allah, right? رَبُّكُمْ, not رَبُّكَ. The Lord of every single one of you, right? And even the word Lord, right? It's a pretty bad translation. Because Rabb doesn't mean Lord, right? Like lords and ladies, like Lord Townsend and Lord whatever. What was it? Tanzania used to be called like, Lord Chester or something like that. Like, I don't know. Like, what is that? Like in England we have the House of Lords. Like you're just some wealthy English dude with a posh accent that has a right to veto things that Parliament, like what? What is that? What do you mean by Lord, right? Or in the year of our Lord, Anno Domini. Domini, like sounds very negative, doesn't it? Like the Lord of the Manor, right? Does that sound good or bad? It sounds kind of like negative, right? Whereas the Rabb is a Jamali word, it's a soft word. So Lord is a heavy word, right? Whereas Rabb, your cherishing Lord, your investor, the one who's invested in you. Rabbul Mal is the investor. Rabbat Bayt, the woman who looks after her house, right? للبيت رب يحميه, right? Abdul Muttalib, the house, the Kaaba, has a Lord that is going to look after it. It's Jamali, it's like a soft side of Allah, not a heavy side of Allah, right? So when you say Allah, that's ذَلِكُمُ اللَّهُ رَبُّكُمْ. It's like, so you basically can't translate it. That's the point. After 17 years it took to translate that Quran. Ridiculous research. Again and again and again. Very, very nitpicky. Extremely. Sheikh Noor is extremely, extremely careful with English language and attention to detail. And Sheikh Ali Hani, he worked with, ridiculous care and concern for the subtleties of tafsir and this and this. So Sheikh Noor asked him very, very particular questions that you couldn't answer without 20 hours of research for that particular word. Sheikh Ali comes back. This, still can't translate it. Because there might be a concept, an idea that you understand, but you just can't express it in English. So what are you supposed to do? You know what I'm saying? Like Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, can't translate it, that's for sure. I mean, how long did we spend in Ramadan? We spent a lesson, I think, on Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, right? I think so, in Ramadan. And it's like, oh, that's like, what does it say? But it's like, you translate it, doesn't really, like, the words don't really do it justice at all. Right? Like if I described Yusuf, right? If I described Yemeni food as delicious, right? It wouldn't do it justice, would it?
No.
I actually went to a Yemeni restaurant the other day. It was pretty awesome. I had
Nice.
I don't know what the food is. Don't know what the name is, but the Yemeni food is taking over my heart bit by bit. Inshallah. It's called Mat'am Hadramaut. Okay. Okay. There is no God worthy of worship. La ilaha illahu. Right? Everything else doesn't count. He is the creator of all things, so worship him alone. He is the maintainer of everything. Everything subsists through him. No vision can encompass him, but he encompasses all vision. So if the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam told us that the believers will see Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with their eyes on Judgment Day, how do you explain this? Well, let's ask another question. If I said you can't see Allah on Judgment Day, and it's not possible, would I be a kafir? No. Why? Because there's a verse here that seems pretty clear. It says, no vision. لا تدركه الأبصار وهو يدرك الأبصار. Eyes do not encompass him, but he encompasses eyes. So I come along and I say, oh, when the Prophet ﷺ said that we would see Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he meant you'll see Allah's blessings. Okay? That's not kufr. That's just wrong. Okay, so you have to understand. Key concept, whenever there's a shubha, whenever you have a kind of argument, right? Then like even if the argument isn't sound, we're not going to label you as a disbeliever. Right? We're not going to do that. So because you're not fun, so you might be wrong, but you're not totally wrong. Okay, you have kind of like a misunderstanding or something, something's kind of like lost or something like that. It's like lost in communication, lost in translation. Okay, right? So there were a group of Muslims that said that. They said Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is not an object. How could you see something that's not an object? Light bounces off an object. Allah's not in a direction, he's not an object, so how could he do that? Right? And they said that, and we're going to say that's wrong, but it's not disbelief. Right? So we say Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will make a miracle happen where we will use our eyes to see something, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that is not an object. Right? And that will be a miracle. That's all. Right? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us in the Quran, وُجُوهٌ يَوْمَئِذٍ نَاظِرَةٌ إِلَى رَبِّهَا نَاظِرَةٌ. Faces on that day will be, some faces on that day will be radiant, looking at their Lord. Right? And the Prophet said, you will see Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala on Judgment Day. Told us that in multiple hadiths. So we say, yeah, but so if somebody denies that because of this verse, we do not label them as a disbeliever, even if they're wrong. For he is the most subtle and all aware. Indeed, there have come to you insights from your Lord. So whoever chooses to see, this for his own good, but whoever chooses to be blind, it is to their own loss. So blindness is intentional. Blindness is intentional. Very important. Lack of gratitude is intentional. Heedlessness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is intentional. Lack of appreciation of how desperately we need Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in every single angle of our life is intentional. Disbelief is intentional. It is not that your name is Bob and you happen to be born in the Midwest. That's the reason why you're going to hell. But if you're born in Pakistan, you'd be going to paradise. It's not like that. People choose light and people choose darkness. People choose the hard way or the easy way. People choose blindness or insight. People choose right or wrong. It is actually an active process. Okay? It's an active process. Does it make sense? And so what happens is we choose the wrong, and the wrong becomes easier and it becomes more natural. We choose the way of heedlessness and it becomes easy and natural. Right? It becomes easy and natural. Right? It's like your kid does not eat vegetables. Right? The kid will only eat candy. The only thing you can get the kid to eat is candy. So he starts eating meat, it's disgusting. Starts eating vegetables, it's disgusting. Anything that's not candy, right? Because it doesn't taste the same. Right? So the more candy they eat, because you don't get into something, it becomes hard. Exercise, right? Exercise is hard. But if you get into exercise, it's enjoyable and you feel good, right? Like you feel good as a person. You don't feel good if you don't exercise, but it's hard to get into, right? So this is dhikr, remembering Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is altruism, preferring others to yourself. This is opposing your nafs. This is doing good deeds. Doing good deeds is difficult. I don't want to do good deeds. It's boring. It's annoying. I don't want to. I want to do what I want to do. Yeah, but when you do good deeds, it becomes something sweet and nice, and then you feel better, and you have nur, right? So you choose the wrong way, and then the wrong way becomes easier. You choose the right. You oppose yourself, and then it's difficult, but then the right way becomes easy, and it becomes natural. dhikr becomes default and natural. Obedience becomes default and natural, right? As opposed to I have to keep fighting myself. But then that shift, just like and going to the gym, right? Oh man, I actually have to get up, right? I actually have to do this, right? I actually have to like and then but then if you get into it, it's like you feel really good, right? So the analogy between righteousness and exercise is a very good analogy, right? The less exercise you do, the harder it will be to exercise. The more regular exercise you do, that it just becomes natural, and you won't feel nice if you don't do it. You don't want to sit down for a long time. You don't want to do these things, right? Okay, but it is to their own loss. They are choosing to be blind. It is not something else. And I am not a keeper over you. So again, the translator himself, Sheikh Dr. Mustafa Khattab, he said this. He said, you give da'wah to people. He's actively involved in da'wah all the time. So if you give da'wah to people, people choose blindness. They do it. Like they see it and they turn away. So don't be turned off. Don't be like, oh, something wrong with me. So it's normal. And so we vary our signs to the extent that they will say, you have studied previous scriptures. And we make this Quran clear for people who know. O Prophet, follow what is revealed to you from your Lord. There is no God worthy of worship except him, and turn away from the polytheists. Very important thing, right? So an argument, like I reference Western media quite a lot, right? Films, books, and stuff, right? Is that true?
Every now and then, yeah.
Yeah. You didn't hear my reference to Pulp Fiction the other day, Yusuf?
Oh no, missed
No?
it.
A good argument, it's a solid argument is to heck with everything Western. Honestly, like you could say, I don't care about Shakespeare or Dickens or Tolstoy, or I don't really care about anything because all these people are psychos because they don't believe in Allah. So if somebody say, listen, you say, is this film done by a believer? No. Okay, I'm not going to watch it then. Is this book written by a righteous believer? No, I'm not going to read it then. I don't need to be inspired by Lord of the Rings or whatever. I don't care. Right? At the end of the day, whatever Tolkien is a Catholic, like who cares? Right? So it's genuine argument to have this mentality like if it's not written by righteous Muslims, I don't care what they have to say. It's a genuine argument and turn away from the polytheists. I don't want to dress like them. I don't want to walk like them. I don't want to talk like them. I am something else. And that's particularly important for converts, right? My dad, is a convert. He spent a good 10 years in the East. And had he not done that, it would have been a different ball game. Different ball game. And I remember him telling me, he said he had this dream once. I think he visited England. He had this dream where he saw Mick Jagger. Does everybody know who Mick Jagger is? Rolling Stones?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and in his dream, Mick Jagger was the devil, right? So if you can imagine this, that there's a time of like, music and only kind of things like you need to turn that off. So you can imagine when you're trying to like, where am I Muslim or am I that? These two worlds. We're like, no, I'm not that. Right? A very important like cut off, right? And so people don't cut themselves off. So this is the problem again with the Muslim world is you're doing sujood to the West. Your TV you watch is Western. You want to send your kids to schools that are Western. You want to speak English, whatever. And so it's like it's messed up. So somebody who it can go to an extreme, right? When you like know nothing about the West, but there's an argument. Well, I don't care what you have to say. Why am I going to read Robinson Crusoe when I can read the origin of Robinson Crusoe, which is Al-Hayy ibn Yaqdhan? You know what I'm saying? Why would I read Shakespeare when I can read like a 50 gazillion poems in Arabic or Farsi or Urdu or I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't care. Why would I do that? You know? Makes sense. Like Shakespeare's, I mean, is he going to paradise? I don't think so. So why'd you care what he has to say? At the end of the day, these people are all shayateen. So being very like strict and narrow has a point, right? Well, turn away from the total. I don't care about your language. I don't care about your culture. I don't care about your books. Whatever. Get out of my face. right? It's quite important to think like that, right? It's quite important to have that to some extent, you know. And my mom she said that I shared this this guy just singing, like non-Muslim, he's singing just nice classical song. There's no music or anything in the background, just she was like, I don't even care about it anymore. Like I'm just sick of everything, all of that. Not even interested. You know, it's like if it's not Muslims who are like they have their feet on the ground and like looking at the akhirah, I don't really want to hear them because they're kind of like stupid. Like everything is off, right? Has a point. For our kids as well, right? The issue is with our kids then is like, how many books can you give them, right? There aren't that many books. So like your kids homeschool, they want to read, and it's like, you know, here's Narnia, I guess, and here's this and here's that. It's like, how many books are there? You know, it's genuinely difficult. It's not an easy thing to do. Had Allah willed, they would have not been polytheists. We have not appointed you as their keeper, nor are you their maintainer. You're not responsible for them. O believers, do not insult what they invoke besides Allah, or they will insult Allah spitefully out of ignorance. Right? And the Prophet sort of mentioned that, right? He said, you know, what's worse than somebody insulting their own parents? He said, Ya Rasulullah, why would you insult your own parents? He said, well, you insult somebody else's parents and they insult your parents. So don't do that. So this is the idea of being wise and not doing things that lead to things. So you start saying bad things about someone's gods. It's true. They are stupid and make, but you say that publicly, and now they're going to start saying things about Allah. Don't do that. This is how we have made people's deeds appealing to them. Then to their Lord is their return, and He will inform them of what they used to do. They swore by Allah their most solemn oath that if a sign would come to them, they would certainly believe in it. Say, O Prophet, signs, i.e., many signs, right? So signs are with Allah. It's not coming from me. What will make you believers realize that even if a sign were to come to them, they would still not believe. We turn their hearts and eyes away from the truth as they refuse to believe at first. Same thing happens with me and you. Dhuhr comes in. Should I make wudu now or should I make wudu in 5 minutes? You're thinking and you already thought about something else. So you turn away. This is what happens. You choose things. You choose a path for yourself. So there's the best and there's the good, and you choose the good over the best. Same thing. There's the good and the bad. You choose the bad over the good. The bad and kufr. You choose the kufr over the right. That's how it works. So there's these pathways. These pathways that we go in. Opportunity comes in. What you say, ask yourself, what is the best possible thing I could do at this moment? And you know what it is, but you don't do it. We turn their hearts and eyes away from the truth as they refuse to believe at first. So now you're just dealing with the good. You don't have the best anymore. The question is between the good and the bad, and then the bad and the kufr. Right? As opposed to fight yourself, say astaghfirullah al-azim. I never want to be the person who knows the best possible thing to do and then not do it. So traffic light, salawat on the Prophet ﷺ. Yeah, I'll do that in a second. Why did you delay? As soon as you delay, you've taken the wrong path. Go. How do you reverse it? Astaghfirullah. Oh Allah, please turn my heart. Ya muqallib al-qulub, thabbit qalbi ala dinik. All right? Or kama qala, right? Or you who turn hearts. I'm super scared that you're going to turn my heart this way or that way. Turn my heart in the right way. Keep my heart in the deen. What is right? Right? Istighfar, erase the past. You know, format the past. Start again. Format, start again. That's what we do. Continue. Astaghfirullah. I only want to do the best thing. But whenever you say, I don't want to do the best, I just don't want to do something that is possibly halal, not possibly, but it passes by. Like it's good enough. You're choosing pathways that are wrong. Does that make sense? So there's mulazamat al-awla. What is the awla at this time? At this second, what should I be doing? At this second, what should I be doing? Right? وَاتَّبَعُوا رِضْوَانَ اللَّهِ. They diligently, carefully followed the full pleasure of Allah, not rida Allah, ridwan Allah, right? And not tabi'u, ittaba'u. They diligently and carefully found what is it that Allah wants at any given moment, right? So remember, we are not the wife who tells her husband, he says, "Hey, sweetheart, can you make me a cup of tea?" She's like, I mean, I'm Shafi, right? So I don't have to do that, right? Shafi school, you don't have to do anything, right? Or she's Hanafi and she says, well, you asked me to make a cup of tea. Hey, can I ask a question? Will you divorce me if I don't make you the cup of tea? And he's like, no, not really. So okay, I won't do it then. Is that kind of a bit of a weird relationship, right? Like I mean, you could at least just say I'm a bit busy, but like you ask me, do I have to? You know, the kids are like, Mama, do I have to? It's like, okay, just don't even bother, right? So we're not married to Allah. I'm not trying to say that we're wives and we're married to Allah. It's not the same, but there's similar relationships. Allah's asking you to do something like, well, do I have to? Are you going to punish me with hellfire if I don't do it? Right? Is it really bad according to all opinions? As opposed to like genuine willingness, like I really want to please Allah as much as I can, given the situation I'm in, right? Given the situation I'm in, right? I really want to do what is best in every single moment. I really love Allah and I fear Allah, right? And I don't want to be, and we turn their hearts and eyes away from the truth as they refuse to believe to begin with. You have to understand for the Sahaba, Iman and righteousness are the same kind of thing spiritually, right? وَمَا كَانَ اللَّهُ لِيُضِيعَ إِيمَانَكُمْ Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala would never squander your iman, i.e. you're praying towards Jerusalem. You used to pray towards Jerusalem, now you pray towards the Qibla. Allah's not going to waste that, right? Leaving them wander blindly in defiance. So yes, the kafir is in defiance. Kufr is one level. Sin is another level. Heedlessness and preferring the suboptimal is also another level, right? Right? Ibn Ta'a al-Iskandari, what he says, وَمَنْ أَحَبَّ اللَّهَ لَمْ يُؤْثِرْ عَلَيْهِ شَيْءٍ. Somebody who loves Allah does not prefer anything over Allah. So when you prefer the suboptimal over the optimal, that means you don't really love Allah. That's not love, right? That's the marriage of convenience, right? This lady has just wanted to be married long enough till this guy finishes his med school, gets a job, gets to like 10 years, oh, khalas, this guy's made enough money. Okay, I'm gonna try and get a divorce now to just get as much money as I can, right? Just want to get the money. That's all. Just interested in the money. Marriage convenience. Right? Just want to have a child. Don't care about him. Marriage of convenience. So we don't have a marriage of convenience with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It's not a relationship of convenience. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is not our mafia boss that we're trying to avoid the harm from. Nor is he somebody with lots of money that we're trying to get money out of. Like Allah is he is our God. We love him, right? Love, adoration, worship, right? These are these standards. Love, above that is adoration, above adoration is worship. So if you don't love Allah, you don't worship Allah. Reality. Even if you had sent them angels, made the dead speak to them, and assembled before them their own signs, every sign they demanded, they would still have not believed, unless Allah so willed. But most of them are ignorant of this. They're like saying, no, because things are not clear enough. And so we have made for every prophet enemies, devilish humans and jinn, whispering to them to one another with elegant words of deception. So here's the problem again for us. We understand that there are shayateen, but yet we watch shayateen. Right? You don't have image block. You don't have you're on YouTube and you're not paying and you still have ads. There's going to be devilish humans 20, 30, 50 times a day. It's reality, right? That's just reality. So it's one thing that you know that they're, the only thing is you give ear to it or give your eye to it, right? So it's a problem. That's a huge problem, right? It's one thing that there's a wolf that's trying to hunt you. The other one is that you walk towards the wolves. Or why are you walking in the direction of the wolves then? Right? May Allah protect us. Right? So for we have made for every prophet enemies, devilish humans and jinn whispering to one another with elegant words of deception. Right? I remember telling the girls at school, the girls and boys, said I prefer for a teenager to watch pornography than to watch Friends. Why is that the case? What is more dangerous in something like Friends, right? The TV show, right? Friends, I don't know what equivalent is. Why is it?
Like
Go ahead.
the subliminal messaging.
Subliminal messaging. Is Friends overtly bad? Like you watch it and like this is obviously bad.
Mm.
Like somebody, a Muslim, I'm coming from Pakistan, I'm coming from Yemen, and I'm watching Friends, and my dad catches me watching Friends, or my mom catches me like, well, I'm like shocked, like, oh my God, this is really bad. They'll be like, yeah, it's going, whatever, funny, right? You know,
Yeah.
it's funny and innocent. There's no rape scenes. There's no, there's no nudity. There's no cuss words. Nobody's dying. Everything's okay. So it's a very, very convincing, funny, attractive, right? Even for example, think about Joey, right? Joey as a woman, I can look at Joey because he's funny, right? I don't know if this still thing like, so I'm a teenage girl, for example. I have hormones. I'm a female. I'm looking at Joe. There's like a handsome guy, but it's okay to look at him because he's funny. You know what I'm saying? Like I have an excuse, right? I have an excuse. Like you have these kind of like things in your head, like oh, I'm not looking in for that point of view. I'm looking in for this point of view, right? So this is how the shayateen work. They don't come and say, "Hi, I'm the devil. Worship me." They don't do that. It comes in with this very twisted thing where it's kind of okay, it's kind of all right. Whispering to one another with elegant words of deception. It's a very, very good argument for kufr, right? And for bombing Palestine as well, right? Why is that the case? Why is it a good argument for bombing Palestine?
Why is Friends a good
Yeah.
argument?
Two of the most important people are what?
It's the other Jewish.
Jewish, right? So Jews are cool and Western. Arabs are scary and nasty, right? So
Mm.
these subliminal messages are happening for the last, what, 50, 60, 70 years in the West, right? Continual things, right? Before 9/11, there was all these films about, planes crashing and stuff like that. So it's called priming. So all this priming that, look, Benjamin Netanyahu, he speaks English, he sounds nice, whatever. Look at those scary Iranians, right? Look at those scary Arabs. Scary Arabs are scary, they're horrible, they're nasty. And look, Jews are kind of like I can identify with you. Krusty the Clown is Jewish. In Friends is Jewish. Malcolm in the Middle. I don't know if you've ever watched that. That was an Australian thing. Malcolm in the Middle. Oh, Jewish. It's like what? It's like everything's Jewish. Indiana Jones, Nazis against the Jewish. Like I remember at school is like the whole thing about the Holocaust. Every single year we have to talk about the Holocaust. Holocaust. It's all priming for Jews are innocent. Bomb the heck out of Palestinians, right? That's it's all priming, right? And then it's like it just kind of makes sense even if it's illogical, right? So these are all subtle things, right? This is how it works. It is not overt. The shaitan doesn't say, "Hi, my name's the devil. I want you to do sin." He doesn't do that, right? It's whispering. So when you have something like, let's say, for example, LGBTQ plus whatever movement, it's more overt. It's much easier to deal with. Like, yeah, that's kind of messed up. Why would I want to do that? You know, pornography is like that's just bad, right? Like people will be like, yeah, that's just bad. People like non-Muslims will look at it and be like, yeah, it's kind of like embarrassing, right? Like, I think it's something like 30% of Americans watch pornography, male and female. But if you expose them, they would be embarrassed, right? They'd be embarrassed. There's this lady you work with, and it turns out she like watches pornography, 1 out of 3, right? So that's mean a lot of the population. Then it's like she would be embarrassed because it's kind of like it's not looked at as in a certain way, as opposed to subliminal things, right? So the shaitan works with your code. He comes to you with what's it called? in an autoimmune system. Like he talks to you in your own system in a way that's appealing to you. It makes sense. Respect your parents, worship, that for the mushrikeen, your parents and your grandparents, they've always worshipped these idols. This is respectful, this is tradition, this is good, this will be appropriate, this will be nice, whatever it is, it's always these elegant words of deceptions, right? As opposed to direct call to sin, right? You're driving on one way and the shaitan says drive the other way. He doesn't do that. He says just turn 1 degree to the left and then 1 degree to the left. And eventually you're turning 180 degrees. Everything is subtle, right? Very, very subtle. So we have to be very aware of these things, subtle things, subliminal messages in television, these things. This is how the shaitan works. Shaitan does not come up to you and say, go and commit zina, go and drink alcohol, go and worship the devil. It doesn't do that. Right? We have to be very cognizant of that. Make sense? Ellie Weasel, who's that?
Elie Wiesel, Knight,
Say it again?
Holocaust writer. Oh, that's the Holocaust writer that they make you read.
I don't
Right.
think so. He's writing about it or writing or debunking it.
No, just it's a part of the curriculum, Anne Frank,
Yeah.
Brutus,
So in school we did I Am David. So that was a thing of like Holocaust survivor, and this kid and it's very overt, like very, very overt, right? But it's not, hey, let's kill Palestinian kids. Nobody's going to say that, are they? But it's just you demonize things through subliminal messages and jokes and these kind of things. So that kind of just feels okay. Like the dirty, dark-skinned Arabs, they're something else and they're all scary and horrible. But the white Jewish people, right? What is it? Israel playing in the European Cup. It was like, what? Like you're not even European. But these all messages. This is how things work subliminally, right? So sin doesn't work like that. The shaitan is more clever than to come at you directly. It doesn't do that. Had it been your Lord's will, they would not have done such a thing. So leave them and their deceit, so that the hearts of those who disbelieve in the akhirah may be receptive to it, be pleased with it, and be perished, and be persistent in their evil pursuits. Right? They go further and further away. Right? Say, O Prophet, should I seek a judge other than Allah, while He is the one who has revealed for you the book with the truth perfectly explained? Those who were given the scripture know that it has been revealed to you from your Lord. So do not be of those who doubt. The word of your Lord has been perfected in truth and justice. None can change His words, and He is the all-hearing, all-knowing. O Prophet, if you were to obey most of those on earth, they would lead you away from Allah's way. Same thing. Be very, very selective of your friends. Be very, very selective of who you look at and who you listen to. Right? Even if you are religious, you will be affected within seconds by irreligious people. Even if you're religious, you're praying, you're fasting, do this, you just hang out with the wrong people for seconds, you will start to imbibe their way, their hal, right? You have to be very, very careful, right? When I first went to Jordan, forgive me on many of these things I repeat myself. When I first went to Jordan, my colloquial Arabic wasn't very good. So I could speak classical Arabic, but I couldn't speak colloquial Arabic, right? And so there's this kind of like communication gap, right? When you're getting a taxi, whatever kind of things, right? After a while, I can actually speak colloquial Arabic. So that makes the communication better. So it makes bonding and communication much better. But what does that mean then? It means now the transfer of how you view existence, and how you view life, how you view the akhirah is now transferred like this. So in a short time, I realized, hang on a minute, this is actually good for me. I'm getting in this taxi, have a joke, I've exchanged, right? This is porous relationship where you exchange his way of looking at the world and my way of looking at the world. And most people are actually insane. They think they're going to live beyond the moment when they don't. That's not guaranteed. and they think this life is more important than the next life, but it's not. So most people are insane. So you're just like continually talking to insane people, right? Continually, and it's not actually good. So what I shifted back to speaking in formal Arabic to stop that, because I don't want to be like you. Because if you obey, if you hang out with most people, so it doesn't mean you be snooty and I'm stuck up and I'm this and everyone else is that. No, I'm worse than everybody else on the earth, and I know no questions about that, right? Lowest of the low. I have no questions about that, right? But I don't want to be like you. So therefore, I don't want to watch you, and I don't want to hear you, and I don't want to become like you. Because if you obey most people on earth, they would lead you away from the path. So again, the obligation on Muslim rulers is to edit the media that comes into the Muslim world, but they didn't do that. So then if you have homosexual pornography coming into the Muslim world, pornography coming into the Muslim world, same music videos coming to the Muslim world, same TV, what do you expect to happen to people? Right? They follow nothing but assumptions and do nothing but lie. My friend said this. He said, he's a convert. He said, I realized that whenever I hear a kafir, he's actually continually lying. He's continually lying. So why do I want to listen to him? Right? Indeed, your Lord knows best who has strayed from his path and who is rightly guided. So eat only of what Allah is slaughtered in Allah's name if you truly believe in his revelations. Notice this connection, spiritual, physical. You're not careful about what you eat. It's going to affect you spiritually. Why should you not eat of that which is slaughtered in Allah's name when he has already explained to you what is forbidden? So now there's either being super strict, this is forbidden, but it's not forbidden. Right? So for the Jahiliyyah, this is forbidden. This is all these random rules they invented. It's baseless. Right? So they're following their weird systems. Don't do that. When he's already explained to you what's forbidden for you, except what you are compelled to by necessity. Many deviants certainly mislead others by their whims out of ignorance. Surely your Lord knows the transgressors best, either people who make up rituals. Shun all sin, open and secret, inward and outward. Indeed, those who, so this is what people don't do. People shun 50% of open sins. So that's the normal Muslim. Open sins that are socially rejected are shunned. That's what they'll do. So if it's socially acceptable to make riba or to dress inappropriately or to talk like this or talk like that, it's okay, it's not a problem. Because religion is culture. And God, Allah, is kind of like somehow kind of mixed with tradition. It's like one thing. You're almost worshipping tradition. Whereas you're worshipping Allah. And there's certain things, open sins, whether they are culturally acceptable or not, this is haram. And then there's internal sins, your intention, bad opinions, bad ways of thinking about people. Love of the dunya and love of the people of the dunya, right? You're in awe of somebody because of their worldly achievements, because of what they have of the dunya, right? So being in awe of the dunya and awe of the people of the dunya is haram. It's not acceptable. Indeed, those who commit sin will be punished for what they earn. Do not eat of that which of what is not slaughtered in Allah's name, for that would certainly be an act of disobedience. Surely the devils whisper to their human associates to argue with you. If you were to obey them, then you would be polytheists. You have to understand this connection, the physical and the spiritual, right? So there is this, just like in the deen, you say certain words and they connect to certain spiritual paths. There is the shayateen, they do the same thing. You say certain words, you say a cuss word, for example, that opens a door, a demonic door. You eat the haram, you open a demonic door. Take drugs, you open a demonic door. Right? There's all these demonic doors You dress in a certain way, you open a demonic door. You use a certain word or a certain symbol, right? There's words and symbols to do with magic and the shayateen. These are real. Just like adhkar. Adhkar open divine doors, right? You eat halal. You eat something that's bismillah. You say bismillah, opens doors. You say alhamdulillah, opens door. You do salawat and Prophet opens doors, right? So there's all these opening, closing of doors with physical things, right? It's important to understand najasa opens certain doors of the shayateen, right? Removing najasa opens other doors. Wudu opens certain doors, right? Janaba opens other doors, right? These are different doors that are opening and closing, and we have to be cognizant of these things. These are real physical things in a different realm, right? A real physical things in a different realm, right? It's very important to understand that. To go back on my point again, I'm very much like I'm not a Shakespearean, but I do appreciate Shakespeare a lot. In Macbeth, Lady Macbeth, she makes this dua to the shayateen. It's really deep. She basically tries to take her gender away. It's really profound, super profound. And she basically like makes a dua like basically come into my veins and make me no longer female so that I could have a baby at my breast and throw it on the floor and not care. Like make me no longer female and make me to have this, give me the strength to get my husband to kill Duncan the king. Like I have to do this. I have to achieve, right? It's really profound, 500 years ago, right? But you look at her like the Western woman, it's like a vignette of the Western woman, right? Of like discard your femininity and aggressively achieve in the dunya. And what happens to her? She goes insane and guilt and commits suicide, right? It's like she's totally messed up. But this whole thing will like take my gender away, right? It's a real thing. So symbols, clothes. I mean, I was in the masjid the other day, not the first time, and it's like this guy has a Playboy t-shirt. So does that image, okay, obviously on a superficial level, it's a connection to its haram, right? It's like, why do we have like a Playboy t-shirt in the masjid? I mean, it's all the places. But in reality, it's a doorway. All of these things, images, right? Connections, images of haram, words of haram, they're all connections, right? It's not it's not just the physical or the physical that we see. There is another realm of physical, right? There's another realm of physical, right? And it is possible, and I don't know this, I'm not speaking as authority, it's possible that in all images there are devils that dwell in it. It's possible, right? The fuqaha, they debate on two-dimensional images. You had a picture on your wall that's two-dimensional. There is debate with halal haram. I'm not talking about halal haram, but it is possible that you have a billboard, for example, with a half-naked woman, right? That there's actually a devil that dwells in that. And that all of these images on your phone, on the screen, man or woman, is actually connected to shayateen. It's possible and not impossible. There were these kids who had a lot of nightmares, and they were asked why they had night. The sheikh went to their house, like, why are they having nightmares? And the kids had just rented this new house that had it wasn't rental, that they had put all this it's called Mickey Mouse, whole Mickey Mouse thing all over the or bedroom room with eyes and everything, right? It's just fully, two-dimensional images of animate life, which is haram according to the Shafi'is and many others, right? And it's like, why is it that the kids are having nightmares? Allahu alam. I'm not saying this is the case, but it may well be the case. Right? But these are all connections. So you're like opening up the door to shayateen by eating haram, by bringing in the haram. Music, right? Music, the great communicator, right? The muse. What is the muse? What is that? You say music, that's an adjective of the word muse, right? What is the muse?
Okay. It's like an inspiration of source.
From where?
Mhm.
The mythological muse in Greek mythology, the nine muses were goddesses of literature, science, right? So
Mm.
you rap like Eminem, and it's like, yeah, there's a reason why he raps like Eminem. You know, Jimi Hendrix, like that's not human. You know what I'm saying? A lot of musicians they say that they're like, it's not me. So it's just a song, or is it a doorway to the devils? Surah Al-Shu'ara. What Allah SWT mentions the Surah Al-Shu'ara that in so Allah SWT says, shall I tell you upon whom do the devils descend? Upon the poets, right? Upon the poets. There were two Umayyad poets who used to like it was like really bad poetry. Poetry they just rip each other apart. It's called Naqa'id, Sha'r Naqa'id, how they'd rip each other apart. And one was asked, one of them was given the first line of poetry from the others. They said, this other poet who's always ripping you apart, he said this. What's he going to say next? He said this. This how do you know? He said, we have the same devil. So, you're like, oh, so it's like, oh yeah, gangster rap is the behavior. It's like, is it behavior or do you actually literally, when you're listening to this stuff, when the television is playing and this is in the background, do you literally have devils in your midst? You know what I'm saying? There's a difference between, oh, that's, the content would be bad. I shouldn't listen to that. The image is bad. It might give me, as opposed to if these images are actually doors to the devils. If the food is a door to the devil, right? You walk in your house, you don't say Bismillah, right? The devil comes in with you. And then you sit down, you don't say Bismillah, he eats with you, right? وَشَارِكْهُمْ فِي الْأَمْوَالِ وَالْأَوْلَادِ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells the shaitan, I'm telling you, take part in their children, right? Why did you get married? For the dunya, right? Haram relationships, these kind of things, right? In your money and in your children, the devil is sharing with you. So these are pathways, right? We really have to understand that, right? It's like somebody not understanding electronics. It's like electronics, this is pathways. I click here, I'm changing a pathway. Click here, changing a pathway. That's what's happening. Eat the halal. Say Bismillah. Say this dua. Or the opposite. Cuss words on your tongue. Pathway, you're opening pathways, images, pathways, right? We have to be very, very careful. Remember one of my shuyukh, he said, if you're going to watch a video on the screen, even if it's religious and there's nothing wrong with the image, scroll it down so there's no image on the screen. Why? The angels don't come in the house where there's images. So who's going to come in who's going to come in when there are images? It's the shayateen, right? So it's not a joke, right? Yeah, it's pretty scary. And it's pretty scary that we do it. You know what I'm saying? Like we do it. Like we basically imagine for example I had a trail in my house. I said, what's that trail for? Oh, I'm bringing cockroaches from the outside of my house, into my bedroom. Like, are you a psycho? Like you're trying to lead cockroaches into your bed? So, yeah, yeah. That's weird. Okay, what are you doing with the shaitan? Who knows? You're there, for example, before you go to sleep, thinking through Instagram. Oh, I saw an image I shouldn't have seen. Oh, I saw another one. Right? So you're basically bringing the shaitan into your bedroom, right? This music in the background, right? This image in the background, this thing, the halal, all right? So your income, your exposure, all these things, we have to be careful. Dabta, right? What do you eat? Right? What do you see? What do you hear? Simple. What do you eat? What do you see? What do you hear? Change those three things, your life is going to be very, very different. Don't change those things, your life isn't going to be very, very different because it's the same as everybody else. You will laugh at the same jokes as every damn kafir. I say that. Every damn kafir, meaning somebody who's destined to hell, you're laughing at the same joke because you're the same as them. You're the same. I'm not saying you, I'm talking about me. Right? What was the example that you laugh at whatever what's it called? Ali G. You find Ali G funny. Okay, well, you want a bigger kafir than Ali G? You know what I'm saying? Or whatever his name, Borat, or whatever other things. Like you find the same things funny. You find the same women attractive, right? You are attracted to what somebody who is destined to hell is attracted to. You're the same, you're basically the same person, right? Think the same way as they do, as opposed to change your food, change your environment, change what you hear what you see, and like, oh, I'm a different person. Very important. But you don't want to do it. I want to watch the same things everyone else is watching. I want to hear the same things. I want to be exposed to the same things. And I want to change. It's not going to happen. I want to invite the same shayateen into my house, into my room, into my head, right? But yet, I want the sohbah of the angels. And the angels, they don't like music, they don't like images, and they don't like those kind of images for sure, right? And those images are going to come up all the time. You're in a mall, right? Music blasting, inappropriate images everywhere, people dressed in like, oh, this is like hanging out at a mall, right? So Allah, the Prophet said what? وَأَبْغَضُ الْبِلَادِ إِلَى اللَّهِ أَسْوَاقُهَا. The most hated of places to Allah are its what? Are its marketplaces. Assuming that it's halal, it's the most hated of places. So now you've got this. Oh, I'm just going to hang out at the mall with my friends. Like, it's not a place to hang out at all, right? And animate life images. So again, in terms of fiqh, Yusuf, is debated, right? So you come to my house and have a big poster of a, I don't know, big poster of a leopard, like a full-on picture of a leopard. It's halal according to the Malikis. I'm not talking about halal haram, but I'm just saying, let's think about it. Because look at these connections that Allah is making, right? Surely the devils whisper to their human associates to argue with them about what? About eating haram food? Like what's the connection? Right? Because if you can eat najasa, right? If I get you to, if you have najasa, if you talk to people who look at people who do magic, there's a lot of things with najasa, right? A lot of things with filth, urine, you know, it's key themes, right? So purity is a door. It's not just a worldly thing, it's a door, right? Najasa is a door to things. All of these things are networks and doors, right? Okay, shall that make sense? The issue is we don't think beyond the physical, so we grow up knowing about the shaitan eating with us when we don't say Bismillah, but it's so easy to disregard and belittle. Exactly. So what's a good way to understand that is go and talk to Satanists. Go and talk to Satanists, people who are doing magic, people who do all these things, and they're like really into this stuff. Like they're really into symbols, things, clothes, whatever, all these things, right? And if you think about it, it's like if you let's think about the last advert that you saw that wasn't to do with sex. It's like ridiculous, right? How much is like sex or attraction or showing off or references to these things, they have to come into everything. All of that, wallahu a'lam, in my ijtihad, is doorway. It's like paying tribute to the devil to help you. Because also we have to understand that the devils are involved in the music industry, and they're involved in business, they're involved in in wars, right? You have to bring in these things, right? All the Israeli propaganda stuff, they're always going to bring in some woman, right? They always have to do these things, right? How did they, one of the things they did in Ramallah is making sure pornography was free and available. So they know how can we fight the Palestinians? Pornography. Very important, right? Make sure these things happen. Make sure that all of these things are there and accessible, right? Make sure, was it Shakira? Shakira, her name is, right? As soon as Gaza was kicking off, that was 4 years ago now, whatever it was, make sure she's there. Like you have to have the army of the shaitan is there. And it's not just somebody looking at somebody with lust or somebody hearing something with haram. It's not just that. It's a whole connection, right? It's a whole connection of symbols and pathways and magic and these things, right? It's really important. I remember my dad saying this once. We had this Chinese lamp. He's like, do you know what it says on it? I'm like, no, I can't read Chinese. He's like, okay. Because like it could well be like a satanic thing, like this is a connection, you know, this thing is a message. It connects to this devil. Like you just like have this lamp in your house. So again, when you talk to, so I'm not saying all of it is true, but when you talk to these people involved in magic and all this stuff, they have all these random symbols and all these things that they use, right? And it comes up again and again and again, right? New World Order, like that's real. I remember I had a friend from Kyrgyzstan, right? He was in Jordan and Kyrgyzstan. I went to his house and he was learning English. And he said, "Oh, can you look at my textbook? Do you like it?" And it said like Novus Orderum Mundi. And it's like literally somebody has been going to Kyrgyzstan and teaching people English, and it has on it New World Order. And it has this little, the triangle and stuff with the eye. And it's like, okay, I mean, why on earth would they do that? Why the symbols? Why are all these things there? They're real. That's why. Like people don't just spend money and effort for no reason whatsoever. I don't believe that's true. I don't believe that's true. It's like real things that are happening. Wallahu a'lam. So anyway, may Allah protect us. Okay, I got to stop here. Inshallah, metaphor for the believer says, can those who had been dead, where are we? Can those who had been dead, to whom we gave life and a light with which they can walk among people, be compared to those in complete darkness from which they can never emerge? That is how the misdeeds of the disbelievers have made them appealing to them. Same thing for me and you, right? The merely permissible becomes fine, right? The makruh, it's makruh. Makruh means not haram, right? As opposed to hated, right? Makruh means hated by Allah. Why would you just think Allah hates, right? Versus, so this is the same thing. You make it okay because everybody does this, right? Everybody does this. That is how, right? All women dress like that, right? Or the sheikh's wife dressed like that. People say that, oh, but I saw Sheikh so-and-so's wife, she was dressed like that. That doesn't make it halal, does it? Maybe he told her, she doesn't listen, right? But it's like, oh, everybody dresses like this. It's okay. This is how the misdeeds of the disbelievers have been made appealing to them. And so we have placed in every society the most wicked to conspire in it, every society. Yet they plot only against themselves, but they fail to perceive it, right? So we have to be careful then. This in every single society, it's always going to be the case, but we have to make sure that we're part of the resistance, right? You're not part of the same thing. That means being unbelievably careful, image block, all of these things, men and women, no exception, right? Sounds, music, images, what am I being exposed to, right? Very, very important. Change what you put into yourself. Food, income, sounds, images, company, and you're going to be a different person, right? As opposed to somebody who does not have a halal income, eating haram food, food that's they have bad company, watching bad stuff, hearing bad stuff, right? Following bad stuff, watching all these things, right? It's not good at all. May Allah protect us, right? I post on Instagram. I do not advise anybody to be on Instagram. Don't advise anybody to be there. I post them because people are there, not because you should go there. You should unless you have to be there, that's your job or something like that. But I do not advise you be on Instagram or YouTube or anything, right? The screen is like our enemy, no joke. Okay, shall I stop here? وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت نستغفرك ونتوب إليك